All right, welcome back. Today, we're jumping into a really fascinating fable that gets to the heart of something we talk about all the time: the huge difference between just being smart and actually being wise. So, let's kick things off with this really mysterious prophecy, right? It's given to two brothers who are in a pretty desperate spot, and it basically sets the stage for a challenge that is going to completely flip their lives upside down. So our story starts in this, rundown hut with two orphaned brothers, Raju and Shyamu. I mean, these guys have absolutely nothing except for a little bit of hope. They're living a life where the sunrise doesn't mean warmth, it just means another day of hunger. Now, you couldn't find two brothers who were more different. Raju, the older one, was brilliant, and boy, did he know it. Always had the quick answer, always a bit arrogant. But his younger brother, Shamu, was the total opposite. He was the quiet one. Didn't say much, but you could tell he was just soaking in every single detail around him. So as they're on the road looking for work, they run into this old man who just looks at them and drops that really weird prophecy. Raju, of course, just laughs. He thinks, what is this old fool rambling about? But for Shamu, those words really stick with him, especially that last part. The one who is left behind will see the truth. Well, soon after, they get to this new kingdom, and they hear about what sounds like a life-changing opportunity. The king, Danajinya, has announced a challenge. There's a series of mysteries happening, and if you can solve them, you get enough money to set up your family for 7 generations. The catch? If you fail, you die. For Raju, this is it. This is the chance he's been waiting for his entire life. And here we go, the first test. A field is burned, but just in the middle. Super strange. And there's this cryptic note. The whole court is just baffled, but you can practically see the gears turning in Raju's head. He's already working it out. And bam, he's got it. Where the sun does not rise, he figures, that has to be the west. And you know what? He's right. They check the western border of the field, they find an old milestone, and sure enough, underneath it is a piece of paper that says, "Riddles solved." But hold on, Shamu noticed something else. A tiny detail that Raju, in his rush to get the answer, completely missed. The note also said, "I am also here somewhere." Now, think about that. Why on earth would a criminal leave clues that could point right back to them? It doesn't add up. So the next riddle is even weirder. This time, the crime scene is inside the palace itself, a place that's supposed to be totally secure. There's a dead creature, a locked room, no signs of a struggle, and another one of these bizarre riddles. But Raju doesn't even blink. He shouts out the answer, "The lock." It's made for protection, right? But it can also be a bond, something that imprisons you. It's a brilliant answer, a perfect fit. But again, Shamu is looking deeper. Yeah, he sees the small locked pendant on the creature that holds the next clue. But more than that, he's watching the king. And the king isn't angry. He's not surprised. He's just calm. He's watching everything unfold. And that is really, really strange. This third and final public riddle is where this pattern really starts to come into focus. See, while Raju is just focused on winning the game, Shamu is starting to suspect that he's not just playing a game. He's a piece in a much, much bigger design. So the third incident hits the kingdom right where it hurts, the administration. All the revenue papers, the things that keep the state running, are found destroyed. And, you guessed it, another riddle is left behind in the mess. And like clockwork, Raju is faster than anybody else. "Taxes and accounts," he yells. They're written all the time, but who actually wants to read them? And of course, he's right again. His reputation as a genius is pretty much sealed at this point. Because he's been so successful, the king gives Raju one last private test. He hands him this simple-looking silk envelope and says, "This is the final key, and it's for his eyes only." So while Raju is off celebrating, Shamu, the brother who hasn't said a single word out loud, is finally putting it all together. He realizes the language in the riddles, it's formal, almost royal. And the targets, the border, the palace, the revenue, these are all symbols of the state's power. And the king? The king is never upset. Then it hits him. That final envelope, it's made of a special royal silk, the kind you can only get inside the palace. So now we're at the final reveal. The whole court is there, and the king looks at Raju and asks the million-dollar question. "You've solved all my puzzles. Now tell me, who is the criminal?" And Raju just freezes. He has all the right answers, but he has no idea who the culprit is. His logic has hit a brick wall. And just as the king is about to sentence them both to death for failing, Shamu steps forward, and he makes this accusation that just sucks all the air out of the room. It was the king. And then, the king smiles. He confesses everything. Turns out, he has no children, no heir to the throne. This whole thing, it wasn't a criminal investigation. It was a giant, kingdom-wide job interview. He wasn't looking for someone who could solve riddles. He was looking for someone who was wise enough to figure out why the riddles were being asked in the first place. And here's the kicker. Both brothers get a reward. Raju, for his incredible intelligence, gets the massive fortune he was promised. But Shamu, for his wisdom, is named the king's heir. He gets the entire kingdom. That old man's prophecy, it came true, right down to the letter. So this brings us to the whole point of the story, right? The final lesson that this whole elaborate test was designed to teach us. This really breaks it down perfectly. Raju's intelligence was all about answering the question. He used logic and facts to find the solution. But Shamu's wisdom was about questioning the question itself. He used context and observation to understand the entire system that was at play. I mean, at the end of the day, Raju could see all the individual pieces of the puzzle. But it was only Shamu who could see the hands of the person who created the puzzle. Intelligence is great for solving the problem that's right in front of your face. But wisdom helps you understand why that problem even exists. And that's really the thought I want to leave you with. We live in a world that is obsessed with the fast answer, the right answer. But maybe this story challenges us to ask, how often are we so focused on just solving the problem that we completely miss the point of why we were asked to solve it at all?